Aloha, my loyal subjects. It is I, Remake 1987, the old school video game king, and I'm about to start a playthrough of Super Mario Bros. 1 that I recreated using the Super Mario Maker for the Wii-U. I'll be playing through some original stages as well, but for now, let's warm up with my remake of Super Mario Bros. 1 in New Super Mario Bros. Style. There are some things here and there that couldn't be remade exactly like they were in the original game, but it wasn't anything too major, and I did the best that I could to find solutions for everything as well. I'll point out some of the changes as we go through the game. Good old classic Super Mario Bros. Stage 1-1. This is one of the very first levels that I can ever remember playing through as a kid, which I'm sure is the case for many gamers out there. I made sure to include everything that I possibly could from the original game. I've included all of the hidden power-ups and secret rooms, and I even included a couple of things that originated in the new Super Mario Bros. Games as well, since this is a remake and all. If you want to take the shortcut using the pipe that's located right before the hidden 1-up in this stage, then that's still an option if you want to do that. And just like that, we've already completed stage 1-1. Here's another classic stage that probably stuck with many gamers. Just the change in scenery was enough to make it stick out in my mind as a kid, and this level is also famous for having the well-known Warp Zone secret, as well as being the area where you start the trick to enter the Minus World in the original Super Mario Bros. At first I wasn't sure which graphical style I wanted to remake the game in, so I had a poll made and about half of the votes were for New Super Mario Bros., which is okay with me because that can show how much the graphics have progressed since the original game came out. Not to mention I can also showcase some of the new moves that Mario has gained since then as well. You aren't able to create more than one extra area per stage, which is why I was automatically underground whenever this stage began. The flagpole to end the stage is also underground as well. It basically came down to either cutting out the above ground segments or cutting out the bonus room, and I didn't think that the above ground segments were worth keeping over the bonus room. We're just about to finish off stage 1-2. Alright, time for stage 1-3. I had to use the field stage theme whenever I created this stage. I wanted to use a sky theme, but the only sky theme available was the airship, and the music wouldn't have fit this stage at all. That's okay though, I'm still happy with how the stage turned out overall. In stages like this, Mario's spin jump in the air can come in handy because it'll slow down his falling speed and let you gain more distance with each jump, which is pretty nice. And just like that, we have now completed stage 1-3. Onward to stage 1-4. Alright, here we are at the first castle of the game. As to be expected, it's a pretty easy level. The only real enemy is Bowser at the end of the stage, and other than that, the only other thing that you have to watch out for is the fire bars here and there, and of course the lava too. You'll know whenever you're getting close to Bowser because you'll see fireballs coming your way. There's nothing standing in your way of jumping over Bowser, so just take a giant leap over him and grab the axe to finish off the stage. Time for World 2. This stage wasn't too bad to create. The only problem that I have with it is that the Coin Heaven segment didn't turn out as good as I wanted it to. I would have included it as a separate area of the stage, except this stage has another bonus room besides the Coin Heaven area, and like I said earlier, you can only have one sub-area in each stage that you create. So I had to make the Coin Heaven segment a part of the main stage. It's also a little disappointing that I couldn't find a way to make the rail lift sit in place until you jump on it. Oh well though, this stage still turned out pretty good in my opinion. As you can see, the rail lift just kinda takes off without you. Kinda disappointing, but like I said, I think that this stage still turned out pretty good overall. We are just about to the end of the stage. You gotta be kinda careful around trampolines in this game because sometimes Mario will pick them up and then you'll have to put them back down before you can use them. Which isn't that big of a deal, but it can be kind of annoying sometimes. Alright, time for the first underwater stage of the game. The only real difference between this version of the stage and how it was in the original game is that there's no pipe at the end of the stage, and instead the flagpole is underwater as well. I suppose I could have put the pipe there since there isn't a bonus room in this stage, but oh well. It was just as easy to put the flagpole underwater. If there's one thing that I don't like about the Super Mario Maker, it's that you can't combine stages together into big worlds or a full game. It's just kind of annoying that you have to play the stages one at a time. It also kinda sucks because you never get to keep your power-ups, but that's not that big a deal though, because Mario games are usually pretty easy. There aren't many underwater stages in the original Super Mario Bros., so I didn't get to do a whole lot with the underwater level creator for this project, but that's okay because I can always make more underwater stages in the future. We're just about to the end of the stage. Alright, time for level 2-3. Of all of the stages that I recreated for this project, I gotta say that this one is probably one of my least favorite, mainly because I couldn't really find a way for the flying Cheep Cheeps to work. I tried putting them on rails, having Lakitus throw them down, having Bullet Bills shoot them, and many other things, but nothing seemed to work that well. I'm not too upset though, because the Cheep Cheeps can still get you if you take it slowly, which is basically what the original stage was all about, since you had to keep running in order to avoid getting hit by them. Alright, time for another castle. This stage isn't too much tougher than the castle from World 1. Just like in the last castle, you're mostly going to be avoiding traps. This castle introduces the Pootaboos, which are the fireballs that jump out of the lava. They're pretty easy to avoid though, so they shouldn't be a problem. I couldn't recreate the elevators, so instead I used a platform that hovers up and down. It works just as good in my opinion. There's not much new to the battle against Bowser this time. You have some bricks in your way at the front of the room, but if you're Super Mario or stronger, then you can just break them to get them out of your way. Time for World 3. In the original Super Mario Bros., this world was dark and it looked like it was nighttime. I kind of wish that I could have recreated that, but it's not a big deal. This is another stage with the Coin Heaven segment, and just like the last stage with the Coin Heaven area, this one also has a bonus room as well. So once again I had to make the Coin Heaven area part of the main stage in order to keep the bonus room. One change that I made here in the remake is that I included Yoshi. You'll only find Yoshi in certain bonus rooms though. Any bonus room that had a Super Mushroom or a Fire Flower in the original game will now have a Yoshi egg in the remake. Since I couldn't make Coin Heaven a separate area in this stage, I had to make the area between the ramp of blocks and the flagpole pretty far apart because the Coin Heaven went on for quite a while at the top of the stage. That's alright though. If you have Yoshi, you can still get to the top of the flagpole. And just like that, we've now finished stage 3-1. Stage 3-2 is a pretty standard level. There aren't many obstacles to jump over, and most of the stage consists of Koopas walking in front of long chains of enemies, so basically all that you have to do throughout this stage is stomp a Koopa, kick its shell, and run with it in order to take out the majority of the enemies that you come across. There also aren't any bonus rooms in this stage either. It's a pretty short stage, as you can see. Onward to stage 3-3. Alright, time for another mushroom hopping stage. I couldn't find a way to recreate the weight shifting platforms in this level, so instead I replaced them with two platforms that float up and down for each set of weight shifting platforms. They work just as well though, in my opinion. I would have liked it if we got to choose what songs played in the levels that we create instead of always being forced to use the same songs over and over. Oh well though, at least the songs that we got are good. There isn't much new to the World 3 castle that you haven't seen in the previous worlds. You're mostly going to be avoiding more Pootaboos and fire bars, which you should have no trouble doing at this point in the game. Just like the last time that you fought Bowser, you'll have some bricks in your way at the front of the room. If you're Super Mario or stronger, then you can try to break some of them to get them out of your way. You can't take a hit and run because Mario will bounce off of Bowser. Just wait for the right time and jump over him to get to the axe. As usual. And just like that, World 3 is now complete, and onward to World 4. Level 4-1 is the first stage in the game with Lakitu, or Grandma Cloud as I used to call him back in the day. Whenever I played the original game, Lakitu just looked like a cloud wearing some kind of wig to me, so I always called him Grandma Cloud. Another change here in the remake is that you can ride in Lakitu's cloud if you manage to stomp him, which is pretty cool. This is another stage where Yoshi gets to make an appearance as well. It may be kinda tricky trying to get him if you're not Small Mario, but it is possible. Another thing that I would have liked to have seen here in the Super Mario Maker is some sort of co-op mode. I think that it would have been great if you could play your created stages with your friends. I also think that it's a bit odd that you can't set up pipes so that you can enter one end and exit out of the other in the same area. Every time that you make a pipe that you can enter, it always leads to a sub-area. Oh well, though. I had to make a couple of changes in this stage. Most notably, I removed the area with the warp zone because they're useless since you can only play individual levels, and you can't create warp zones anyway. I changed the contents of the block that would normally have the vine that takes you to the warp area to a 1-up mushroom. I've included the propeller mushrooms in certain stages in the remake, but it seems like the penguin suit wasn't included in the Super Mario Maker, which is a shame, but it's not that big a deal for this particular project since there aren't any ice levels, and there are only a couple of underwater stages. Another change that I made in this stage is that I put the flagpole here in the underground area because I had to use the sub area for the bonus room in this stage. That's alright though. Just like that, we are now done with Stage 4-2. The idea behind the item distribution here in the remake was that if a stage had more than one super mushroom, then I would put a fire flower in the next block that contained a super mushroom, and if there were more than 2 super mushrooms, then I put a propeller mushroom in the third block, and if there were more than 3 super mushrooms, then I went back and forth between the fire flower and the propeller mushroom. We're just about to the end of the stage. Alright, time for the World 4 Castle. In the original Super Mario Bros., this castle was one big maze that would return you to areas that you'd already been to, but there was no way for me to recreate that here in the Super Mario Maker, but the stage still turned out pretty good as it is. As usual, you'll have to avoid quite a few fire bars as you make your way through this level, but that's nothing new. There aren't any blocks in your way whenever you fight Bowser this time, but there is a fire bar and a Poodaboo that'll try to get you. Just jump over all of them and grab the axe, as usual. That is it for part 1.